Imagine for a moment that the very foundations of global finance have been quietly rearranged while the world was looking elsewhere. Picture a single, decisive move from a nation long poised on the brink of economic transformation, a move that doesn't just tweak the system but fundamentally rewrites the rules of the game for its national currency. This is precisely the seismic shift that began the moment the Central Bank of Iraq made its landmark announcement, the introduction of a sovereign digital dinar. This isn't a trial balloon or a vague future proposal. This is an official, strategic launch into the digital age, and its repercussions will be felt from the bustling markets of Baghdad to the towering financial centers of New York, London, and Hong Kong. The creation of a digital dinar is far more than a technological upgrade. It is the master key designed to unlock decades of economic stagnation and international isolation. It is the most powerful signal yet that Iraq is dead serious about shedding the vestiges of a troubled past and claiming its place as a legitimate and integrated player in the international monetary system. For anyone who has followed the saga of the Iraqi dinar, this is the development we have been waiting for, the tangible proof that the theoretical path to a revaluation is now being paved with concrete, actionable, and irreversible steps. Think about what a central bank digital currency, or CBDC, truly represents. It is not a cryptocurrency like Bitcoin, volatile and decentralized. It is the full faith and credit of a nation, digitized. It is the official dinar, but now imbued with the superpowers of the digital realm: instant settlement, transparent traceability, and programmable functionality. This inherent transparency is a dagger aimed straight at the heart of the corruption, black market trading, and money laundering that have plagued Iraq's financial system for generations. Every single digital dinar will live on a secure, official ledger, making its movement from the central bank to commercial banks, to businesses, and to your digital wallet, completely visible to the authorities. This will drastically reduce the informal economy and force vast sums of money that have been operating in the shadows out into the regulated sunlight, effectively broadening the tax base and giving the government a clear, real-time picture of its monetary supply. This level of financial clarity is non-negotiable for any currency that hopes to be taken seriously on the world stage. It is the absolute prerequisite for building the trust that Iraq so desperately needs from international investors and, most importantly, from the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank. These institutions have long demanded structural reforms as a condition for further support, and the digital dinar is the ultimate structural reform, a demonstrable commitment to good governance that cannot be easily undone. By embracing this technology, the Central Bank of Iraq is not just following a global trend, it is proactively building a fortress of credibility around the dinar, assuring the world that the wild fluctuations and opacity of the past are being systematically engineered out of existence. This newfound trust is the bedrock upon which a new exchange rate will be built. Furthermore, this digital leap will revolutionize the very mechanics of cross-border trade and foreign investment. Currently, conducting international business with Iraq is a bureaucratic nightmare, fraught with delays, excessive fees from correspondent banks, and the constant risk of transactions being frozen or rejected due to compliance concerns. The digital dinar promises to vaporize these inefficiencies. A Chinese company paying for Iraqi oil could settle the payment in digital dinars instantly, 24/7, without waiting for business days or intermediary banks taking their cut. This efficiency makes Iraqi goods and assets dramatically more attractive to foreign entities. It lowers the barrier to entry for international commerce, effectively inviting the world to do business with Iraq on new, streamlined terms. This influx of foreign capital, drawn by both the ease of transaction and the potential of a currency on the verge of a historic correction, will create a self-reinforcing cycle of demand for the dinar, pushing its value upward. The digital dinar, therefore, is not merely a companion to the physical currency, it is the engine that will drive its international acceptance and utility, creating the necessary conditions of demand and stability that must precede any meaningful revaluation. This is the masterstroke that moves the Iraqi dinar from a speculative asset to a functional, modern instrument of global trade. Now, let's delve into the intricate mechanics of how this digital dinar will orchestrate the long-awaited revaluation, because this is not a matter of magic but one of deliberate financial engineering and economic principles being set into motion. The most immediate and impactful effect of launching a digital currency is the monumental shift it creates in monetary policy implementation and control. Currently, the Central Bank of Iraq faces significant challenges in managing liquidity and controlling inflation because a substantial portion of the physical dinar supply circulates outside the formal banking system, effectively operating in a shadow economy that is invisible to the regulators. The moment the digital dinar goes live, it creates a perfect, real-time window into the entire monetary bloodstream of the nation. The CBI will be able to see, with pinpoint accuracy, the velocity of money, how fast it is being spent and circulated, the exact locations of hoarding, and the precise levels of liquidity in every commercial bank. This unprecedented visibility allows for surgical strike monetary policy. Instead of adjusting interest rates for the entire economy and hoping for the best, the CBI could, in theory, program the digital dinar to have an expiration date to encourage spending during a downturn, or offer direct, targeted interest rates to specific sectors to stimulate growth, all while tracking the outcome in real time. This God's eye view of the economy is a power that modern central banks in developed nations are only beginning to explore, and for Iraq to adopt it is to leapfrog decades of incremental progress, instantly aligning its monetary tools with those of the most advanced economies. This alignment is a critical prerequisite for establishing a credible, strong exchange rate that mirrors the stability of nations like Kuwait or the United Arab Emirates. Furthermore, the introduction of the digital dinar will act as a powerful vacuum, sucking vast amounts of physical currency out of the informal economy and into the formal, digital system. As citizens and businesses, encouraged by the convenience and security, convert their physical dinars into digital ones, the CBI gains a definitive and accurate count of the money supply. For decades, the true M2 money supply, a key metric for valuing a currency, has been an estimate, clouded by the billions of dinars stashed away in homes or circulating in the black market. This uncertainty has been a major anchor dragging down the dinar's international credibility. A precise, auditable money supply figure eliminates this shadow of doubt. It allows the CBI and international financial institutions to calculate a real, defensible exchange rate based on solid data, not on estimations. This process of demonetizing the shadow economy will inevitably lead to a dramatic reduction in the overall physical currency in circulation, which, when combined with a known and controlled digital supply, creates a scenario of controlled scarcity. In basic economic terms, when the supply of an asset is known, controlled, and potentially reduced, while demand for it is increasing due to new international utility and investor confidence, its value is destined to rise. This is the fundamental supply and demand equation that will underpin the revaluation. The digital dinar also provides the perfect mechanism for a potential currency swap or redenomination, a topic often discussed in conjunction with the RV. If the CBI decides to introduce a new, lower denomination dinar, for instance, making one new dinar equal to 1,000 current dinars, the transition can be executed seamlessly through the digital ledger. Citizens could wake up one day to find their digital wallet balances automatically converted at the new, stronger rate, with the old currency units rendered obsolete. This technological capability removes the immense logistical nightmare and cost of physically collecting and replacing all the paper bills in the country, a task that would otherwise take years and be vulnerable to fraud and chaos. The digital platform makes a complex monetary transition clean, efficient, and instantaneous, bolstering confidence rather than creating panic. It is the ultimate tool for managing a paradigm shift in the currency's value without the societal disruption that would have been inevitable in the analog age. This controlled, technologically enabled environment is what gives the Central Bank of Iraq the confidence to move forward with such a monumental change. They know they have the tools to manage the process with precision. The digital dinar, therefore, is not just a precursor to the revaluation, it is the very infrastructure that makes the revaluation feasible, manageable, and sustainable in the long term, ensuring that when the new rate is announced, it is backed by a modern, transparent, and robust financial system capable of supporting it. So, the question that now burns in the mind of every investor and observer is no longer if, but when and how high, and while I must state clearly that I cannot and will not give financial advice, what we can do is analyze the undeniable trajectory that has been set and what it means for you, the global citizen, watching this historic unfoldment. The announcement of the digital dinar is the starting pistol for the final lap in this long-running economic marathon. It is the point of no return that commits Iraq to a course of action from which there is no logical retreat, because to build this sophisticated digital financial infrastructure only to maintain a devalued, internationally isolated currency would be like building a hyperspeed maglev train to run on a dirt road. It is a fundamental contradiction in terms. The entire architecture of a CBDC is engineered for efficiency, global integration, and stability, all of which are diametrically opposed to the current state of the Iraqi dinar. Therefore, the launch of the digital dinar is the most powerful indirect confirmation that a revaluation is not just a possibility, but an integral part of the same overarching plan, the necessary final piece that completes the puzzle. The how high is a function of several variables that are now coming into sharp focus: the true money supply that will be revealed as cash floods into the digital system, the vast untapped mineral and oil wealth of Iraq that will be more easily monetized and traded, and the strategic need to bring the currency's value in line with its regional peers to foster economic cooperation and assert national sovereignty. This isn't about becoming the world's strongest currency overnight, it is about establishing a fair, realistic, and trade-friendly value that reflects Iraq's true economic potential and purchasing power, moving from a state of artificial depression to one of organic equilibrium in the global marketplace. The international community